There are four main performance measures that we use to measure performance. I mean, there are others like Treynor ratio, but for this introduction, we'll focus on Sharpe, Treynor, Jensen, and M2 or M squared. So the first one, Sharpe, as we said, is the excess return per unit of volatility. And if you already heard of ROI safety first, it looks a lot like the Sharpe ratio, and this is I like to present them together so that it's easy to memorize it, the ROI criterion, because it uses, instead of the risk-free rate as a benchmark, a minimum acceptable return, for example RL. And there you have it. This becomes the Sharpe for another type of return. Then the risk-free return becomes ROI safety first ratio. Now, M2 is the same idea as the Sharpe, but it expresses in percentage. Because you see, if we say, okay, the portfolio has a Sharpe of 1, then what does it mean? Is it like, does it do 10%, 20%? So M2 answered this question by saying, if we take this portfolio and give it the same volatility as the market, what would the return be? The Treynor ratio and the Jensen alpha, they shift the focus. As you can see here, you're using sigma, so it shifts the focus from total risk to systematic risk, so they use beta. Treynor ratio is the same idea. It tells you how much excess return per unit of market risk, so not like total risk, but market risk. And Jensen is the vertical distance between the portfolio return and the return predicted by the SML. So if we were here and instead of plotting security, we plotted a portfolio, then the difference between the portfolio and the security market line, you see this formula. If you move the left side on the right side, it gives you, but for a portfolio, not for an individual security, the Jensen alpha for the portfolio. But all this is based on the huge underlying assumption that markets are efficient.